Hello and welcome along to the Sports Express Show. We're back again for a brand new week and we're going to be looking at the European Championship, looking at the first two match days, right? We haven't talked about the Euros as far as the games are concerned.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to look at some of the interesting games that have happened so far, some of the interesting teams that have pulled through so far in the tournaments. We got the likes of Italy, who have played 2 games already and have already qualified for the next round. Belgium as well, and I think the Netherlands as well have also done so.
Yeah, look, for me in our video, no, when we were discussing off air, sorry, I did say Italy are up there. I don't think they'll be
Dark horses.
Dark horses.
Yeah.
I think that was the term that you had used off air as well. Italy was that team where I was like, okay, they're coming right. I mean, they haven't conceded a goal in the last 8 to 10 matches, or 8 pre this tournament. Mancini has done a wonderful job with them, and I think also watching them going forward. I mean, the one highlight was always the defense.
Yeah.
And as you've heard that stat, they haven't conceded, but going forward, there seem to be goals there. They seem to be a little bit more dynamic. They seem to be a traditional Italy with a bit more spice, and I mean they're converting. So I think it's interesting times ahead. I still don't think they're gonna win it, but I feel that they're gonna surprise they're gonna go further than what we think they will go.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think there's a team that has started this tournament better than they did. In terms of how they played defensively and also the goals going forward. But we also have the likes of the Netherlands. Belgium just won their game against Denmark, which was a very tough game for them. You know, they were owned by Denmark in the first half. A poor start from Roberto Martinez's team. But in the second half, with the introduction of De Bruyne and Hazard, it was just game over now, wasn't it?
It was game over, and I mean, Belgium with Belgium, they remind me of Leicester. They're always huffing and puffing, but they never convert. And I feel if they don't convert now, then I don't think they ever will.
No, they won't. This is literally their last chance.
It is their last chance. I mean, and they've got formidable players. In Belgium is that they've got top players. I mean, you could go through the lineup and you'll be drooling, son. But going back to that match against Denmark, I mean, that first half, Denmark were prime Barcelona, bro. Against pressing them left, right, and center. And Belgium just didn't have the answers until the second half, where, you know, it was a roll of the dice from Martinez and said, "Hey, Kevin De Bruyne, save me, my son, save my career." And then he came on, and those 2 goals. That was football porn at its best.
Absolute filth.
So he came on and he was the difference, and Lukaku seemed to be revived as well. I think there was a no-show from Lukaku in the first half, but Lukaku is always dangerous. But when Kevin De Bruyne is on, he just gets up, and he did, and he had a heavy hand on both goals. In fact, he's basically formidable in those both goals, and they converted and they won. So Belgium are one to always look out for, but siyabas, bruh. Siyabas, I got. So
De Bruyne scored 1, assisted 1. Big Rom, Lukaku. You know, he started the tournament really well. He got 2 goals in the first game. 2 man of the match performances from him, as well as getting this one in the second game. So it's a really solid start from him.
It is a really solid start, but you always expect it from him. You know, I don't think he's ever disappointed for the national team, ever. Not in my memory. So he always picks up his hand for the national team. I just think it's the whole national team that needs to pick up their hand with him in the crucial stages. It's all good and well to bang in the goals and to win matches again in the group stages, but what happens when it reaches the end? What happens when it reaches the quarters, the semis? Can you cross that line and get to the final? What happens in that stage? So we'll see. Very happy for him. He's always gonna be the guy who just dominates, and I hope it'll get there. I hope it'll be worth something.
Right, let's talk about that group of death, my brother. Because we've had their first round of action. I think Portugal are going to be playing again tomorrow. So we saw Portugal, right? In their first game. Against Hungary. Which was the funniest game that you'd watch.
It was.
Because Hungary were literally in it for like 85 minutes of the game. And the 3 goals came towards the end of the match.
It was a very funny game. It wasn't a match where you could say Hungary did not turn up. They turned up.
They turned up.
And they frustrated Portugal.
Yeah.
Yes, Portugal had the most chances in terms of attack, and they were always close, but not close enough. They weren't clinical enough.
In the first half,
and I think that's due to Hungary more than Portugal being poor, because Portugal have got ballers. We're talking about a solid squad that we haven't seen a squad this solid like since 2006.
Yeah,
you know,
from
so
them.
they are from Portugal, so they've got ballers there. So with Hungary putting in that performance and frustrating them, and only for Portugal to score those 3 goals in the last 5 minutes, I think it was an incredible performance from Hungary. But you know, the big Ron came through. I mean,
Obviously,
the legend.
We had to bring in the goats.
I mean, the god of goats among goats. I mean, like, this guy came through clutch. And he saved his country like he always does. I think this guy should just be given a Medal of Honor for just existing for Portugal, because he saved them time and time again.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those, yes, it was a scoreline that flattered Portugal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Ronaldo came through, and that's all that matters to me.
Rafael Guerreiro scored first.
Yes, he
the
did.
all-important goal for Portugal.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, CR7 got the 2 goals to make it 3-0. And then later on, we saw the big one. At the Allianz Arena in Germany. It was the Germans up against the French.
Yes.
Arguably 2 favorites for this competition in terms of like pre-tournaments and what people thought. You know, quite a great performance by France, as expected of them.
Yes, of course.
And Germany, on the other hand, I must say, pretty disappointing from them in terms of how they turned up on the day. I mean, the midfield was a formidable midfield in terms of the talent that they had. I mean, come on, Gundogan, Kimmich, you got Toni Kroos in there.
Listen,
but they were literally owned by Kante and Pogba.
They were bossed, I mean, by just 2 players, like you said, Kante and Pogba. I mean, Pogba, when it comes to the national team,
He just is a station gravy.
You want to classify in the French national squad.
He's a completely different
on
player.
another level, that guy. And so he turned it up again. And him and Kante, just 2 guys contained the whole German midfield. 2 guys. And you know what, he had the most balls won. His stats for that game were just silly. They were silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that game, for me, I expected France to win. I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah.
There were many frustrating moments for me as a viewer when it came to that, because I obviously expected more goals from that match, but there were a couple of offsides here and there.
Yes.
But nonetheless, the match itself, action-packed. I think that was a good match from France's point of view, but for Germany, they need to improve drastically.
They definitely need to improve, because it's not going to get any easier for them.
Not at all.
They still have the game against Hungary, but they have to beat Portugal in order for them to have any sort of chance to get through. And Portugal would want to beat them as well,
to make sure they
don't get to the France game needing to get a result from that.
Exactly. So it's that's why this group is very it is the group of death. So it's one of those where I feel that it's going to be very tough, obviously, but I do hope that Portugal can turn up against Germany. I don't want to lie, my heart goes for Portugal,
of
guys,
course,
as you can tell. So it's one of those situations where Portugal have to do it, and I feel that with the firepower that they have and the way that Germany have been playing, it's not just this match and this tournament, but the leading up to it, I don't think they have the confidence or the swagger of the 2014 World Cup winning side. So I feel that there's no way Portugal shouldn't beat Germany. So we'll see what happens.
Right, lots of games to still go. Obviously, we have the second match day that's happening right now. Then we'll have the last games of the group stages, and before we have the knockout stages. So it's a lot of action that's coming up.
It's a lot of action, and we just need to keep our eyes peeled and watch what's going to happen. I mean, there's still a lot of dark horses like the Netherlands, like Italy. These guys, Belgium. I'll put Belgium in the mix.
And the funny thing is that tournament football is also quite funny, because there are teams that start very slow.
And then they kick on.
And then they kick on, they peak at the right time.
Yes.
And then you get teams like Italy who may have peaked quite early in the tournament.
And then they just fade as the tournament goes.
So it's very important to note that going forward, because it's very easy to write teams off based off the first 2 games.
Yeah, true.
Whilst some of them can kick on at the right time.
So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the tournament. I think it's a very good tournament. Apart from, you know, the big boys not stepping up for me, you know, but apart from that, it's gonna get really tasty very soon.
Very, very soon. Yeah.
Guys, thank you again for tuning in, and we'll catch you again next week. Make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe, please. click that notification bell so that you're aware of the new videos that we have released. And like I said, we'll catch you again next week. Peace.